Hey guys, welcome to Wave. We talk about a lot of things crypto. If that interests you, then subscribe to the channel. In our previous episode, we spoke about NFTs and spoke about why NFTs are important and so on. And in this particular video, we'll talk about one of the best NFT projects that have ever been in existence in the last 3 years. It's called the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Right? Why are they interesting? To begin with, let me pique your curiosity. This particular ape or monkey like creature that you see on your screen, this is worth about $3.5 million. Right? This is what it was sold for in an auction recently. And that it's not just that one. This particular ape was sold for $2.9 million. This one was sold for $2.8 million, and there are 10,000 such apes, each of them differing by maybe the background or what hat or what accessory specs and clothes that this ape is wearing. If you go to the NFT marketplace, OpenSea, you will see a number of these apes listed. So now you can buy it from this NFT marketplace. The price is pretty high. Right? The asking price are insanely high, and bid price is about anywhere between 150 to 300 ethers. That's the numbers that I have seen. The floor price about 87 ethers, which means that the minimum price for one of these apes is at least well over $150,000. Right? That's pretty expensive for a monkey or an ape that that you could probably just right click and save. Right? What is the reason why is this so expensive? To begin with, if you were to own one of these Bored Apes, then you will be added to a Discord server that has other Bored Ape members. This is like your private club, right? Like maybe a golf club or something like that. It's a very private yacht club in this case, a very private club. Who are these other individuals who own the Bored Apes? A lot of celebrities who own it, right? For instance, Tom Brady owns one. Madonna owns this one. Justin Bieber owns this Bored Ape. Jimmy Fallon, Neymar, Paris Hilton, Snoop Dogg, even Adidas owns a Bored Ape. Right? Serena Williams owns a Bored Ape. Serena Williams' husband, who is the founder of Reddit, also owns a Bored Ape. There are a number of other celebrities, even from the business world, like Mark Cuban, for instance. He also owns a Bored Ape. So if you are part of, or if you're an owner of a Bored Ape, then you would automatically be added to this Discord server. That is the primary right that you get. What else do you get? A number of features that gets unlocked as part of the roadmap. But before we get to that, how did this even start? So there are 4 people who are pseudonymous, meaning we know them by a certain name which is not really their actual name, and they're largely, we don't know who they actually are. These guys started the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and when they started it last year in April, all they did was they said you can get it for free. You just had to mint it. It will cost you zero point 0.8 ether, maybe about $30 or $20, whatever the price was back in April last year. So that was almost a throwaway price. You could have got it for that price. So you'll get one of these Bored Apes. What do you get with that? You get access to that Discord server. You get one of the 10,000 apes. You get a bathroom where there is a virtual bathroom of sorts where there is graffiti and you can make graffiti. And they also mentioned that you'll get additional benefits through roadmap activations. Right? So at that point of time, probably it was not really mentioned what was the exact roadmap, but they did mention a few things, and that's how this journey of the Bored Ape Yacht Club sort of started, and there are celebrities and others start getting in, became popular, and it became so popular that prices reached about $1 million, $2 million, $3.5 million that you just saw. And over the last 1 year, these guys did activate a large part of their roadmap. So they started their YouTube channel. They started some member exclusive merchandise store. They created a game. They created additional NFTs that only those people who owned a Bored Ape would get it. Right. So the first one that probably was created was called the Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Right. So what's a Mutant Ape Yacht Club? So if you owned a Bored Ape, you would get a serum. You add the serum, let's say this is your Bored Ape, you add a serum, you probably get a mutant ape like this. Right? And there were about 10,000 mutant serums that have been distributed. So you could create your second NFT. Right? So now essentially that is an additional value for you for holding the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Right? And you can sell that as well. You can probably sell that separately. And then they created something called the Kennel Club. So if you're a Bored Ape or a Mutant Ape member, then you can adopt NFT of a dog, right? So this is called the Bored Ape Kennel Club, and it was only open for people who had one of these NFTs, and you could now. So technically, you now have three NFTs. Starting with the Bored Ape Yacht Club, you have Kennel and the Mutant Ape Yacht Club as an additional benefit that you just got, and these are also selling for a lot of money. So whatever investment you probably made, you got a number of benefits from it by getting these additional NFTs as part of the roadmap that was activated. And what else is happening? There are all kinds of crazy things happening. For instance, there's this board wine company of sorts that has been created, where they are creating um, wine that is of a particular range based on each ape, or based on like this month's theme I think is the mutant wine. So they are looking at selling that. Bored Ape was backed by or the Bored Ape club's owner, or the founders rather, were, it's called Yuga Labs. They are backed by Anderson and Horowitz, which is a very large player in the crypto space, one of the most respected Silicon Valley venture capital firms. They raised about $450 million. I think they were valued well over $5 billion. Um, so why is this important? Normally, I evaluate the tokens based on a few things like tokenomics, team, utility, roadmap, and stakeholders. So going back, stakeholders, they have an amazing stakeholder team. We're not really sure who they are. Utility, does it serve a purpose? That this is where I think sometimes the crypto world turns any scientific analysis upside down. There is no methodology here. They created an NFT, and then they created an Ape Coin. We'll talk about that. So at that point of time, probably there was no utility. So 1 year back, if I had made an analysis, I would not have recommended you to buy it. But today it's very different, right? So sometimes the crypto world sort of surprises you on what it tries and does. Activity, there's a ton of activity going on around this. So hands down, it's winning on in terms of activity. This is probably their strongest strength, based on which they're building other things. In terms of roadmap, if you look at the kind of things that is coming out of it, it is just amazing, right? Tokenomics, yes, amazing. Overall, I think if you just by my parameters that I usually analyze, this is one fantastic NFT project which is leading to more and more interesting things. Right? Before we get to what are these interesting things, we'll first talk about what is Yuga Labs. Right? So Yuga Labs was started by a bunch of four people who come from different backgrounds. They have some inspiration behind which they created this, and one particular aspect on why they created apes and not anything else is because apes has had a reference in the crypto world. There's a long history behind it, and some of the most valuable NFTs in the Crypto Punk collection, which is another famous collection before the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Some of the most rarest and most valuable NFTs there are apes, and hence they created this whole theme on apes, right? And if you look at who the founders really are, the founders are of very different background. They're like Jewish, Cuban, and Turkish, and so on. And they sort of started creating this. They have just 11 full-time employees and a few contractors who work on the video game, the merchandise, and things like that. It's pretty interesting that just 11 people are able to do so much. So that itself I think is amazing. But what is it that they want to do? It's mentioned in this line here. It says our ambition for this is to be a community owned brand with tentacles in world class gaming, events, and streetwear. So this gives an idea into what they want to get into in the future. So gaming, events, streetwear, and it's already happening. They're getting into the gaming space. We'll talk about that. In terms of events, they had an Ape Fest in New York recently. It went really well, and they're getting into streetwear, which is the merchandise. And the next thing, of course, they will do is release the game and the metaverse and so on. But before that, what they actually did was they created this thing called the Ape Coin. And the Ape Coin today is the 39th largest crypto in the world by market cap. It's about $6 today, massive discount from where it was selling at in its all-time high. It's about 77% down from its all-time high. And who gets these Bored Apes? So what is it used for? So Bored Apes are used. The Ape Coin is used for a lot of things. It'll be used as a currency in a number of games, not just built by Yuga Labs, but by the ecosystem itself. So that's one plus, that this coin will start getting used. And who got these Bored Ape coins? Well, all the people who held who held the Bored Ape Yacht Club, so they were primary beneficiaries of these. About 15% of the tokens were allocated to them, right? And the rest of it was allocated to investors and the team, the Yuga Labs itself, and also in retail investors like you and me. And this token sort of is creating a whole new world. Right? What is this whole new world? Right from like they have this metaverse created called the other side. Right? So there is like they mentioned the games, events, fest, metaverse. All these things are coming out, and this I think is an experiment in community building. Right? This is to show how a community which got a bunch of NFTs, 10,000 NFTs for free, almost literally free, is today built a value that is in millions of dollars. It is a cultural revolution. It is the brand is sort of standing out, and this is their biggest strength, right? This is I think what is the highlight over here is that the community in crypto is very strong. It does not work like your normal business models. It does not work like how you would normally expect companies and projects to work. This is very different, and this Bored Ape Yacht Club is, I think, a shining example of how cryptos are completely crazy. We cannot predict anything that easily. Some of the dumbest things can go on to become something really great. In fact, Shiba Inu also, I was surprised. That's another video you can watch. This particular Ape Coin and the analysis on this, we'll continue that in the next video.